don't really consider myself an activist. I think that when you're an indigenous person who lives your culture, standing up for your people and the rights of your people to be established and recognized as a sovereign nation is just a way of life. So you'll never hear me say, and I'm an activist. I know people say that, but to me, it's just, that's not what it is. And I grew up this way on the reserve. I mean, I'm a child who lived through the 1990 Oka crisis. So, I mean, I'm a product of my environment, and I don't consider myself, an activist that people can like look to or anything like that.
Yes, I
Yeah.
understand. Okay. And right now, the last, I don't know how many months, 10 months or more than that, you've been working on a co-creation, two-horn. Have you been working on two-horn circus?
Yes. So I wrote the first draft. I wrote it solo, but the co-creator is Ganyet Dio Horn, who's a Mohawk actress from my community. And it's inspired by a true story, by our family story. And Ganyet Dio's grandfather, as well as his nephew, which is my cousin, it's my grandmother's nephew. They were both named Joe Horn, and they ran away to the United States. They faked their own deaths, and they joined a traveling circus to survive life on the run. And they stayed away until they reached the age of majority, and then they came home. Everyone thought that they were dead.
So,
Um,
so
it,
this
it,
this was about avoiding residential school.
yes,
They
it's
were going to
not
be
clear.
okay.
Yeah, so we're hearing different things. One is that they were trying to avoid being sent to residential school. Another is that there was a different reason that we're not aware of or we're not sure of. Another thing that we heard was they ran away and left their bikes there and hopped a train and ran away. They never wanted to leave the impression that they died or fake their deaths. And they ran away, but everyone assumed that they fell into the water. They never fathomed that they had actually ran away. And so they had a mass funeral for them and to lay their spirits to rest. And then when they returned, it was like, I know that there was a lot of guilt that they carried when they came home because of how it affected their families and their parents and the community as a whole. But so the story that I wrote, or the film, the script that I wrote, it's an hour and 45 minutes long. I really hope that it could become like a television series because there's so many different themes and topics that we can cover in there. And when they leave the community, I really had to do extensive research on circus life in the 1930s in the United States. And there was a lot going on historically during that time. There was the war, the depression, the women's rights movement, segregation. There was so much going on, and I can definitely see this being a series one day. But the characters are all fictional.
Okay.
Their whole journey at the circus, it's all something that I created, and I had a lot of fun doing it.
Wow.